Yo, what is good, my fellow monsters and hunters of share? God's and Killer here, bringing you guys, of course, some good old Evolve. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions of a certain elder that happened to join the Evolve cast. He got out of the retirement cave and he got his monster combat boots on and he's ready to scrap like he used to do back in the day. And that is the Elder Kraken. Now, of course, I encourage you guys in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about Elder Kraken so far. Do you think he's a really good pick? You like him? You think he's viable pick? Or do you think that he's, well, garbage? He's not good, all that negative stuff. Let me know in the comments below. But anyway, Elder Kraken, the OG is here to put the young gun whippersnapper hunters in their place. But is he actually good? Now, in my impressions of Elder Kraken, let me say this to start off. Most of the matches that I've played as Elder Kraken so far have been matches, well, with lag. Lots of lag. I'm talking about people over 100 ping, 200 ping, and even 300 ping. So most of the matches I've had so far have been pretty laggy, minus the live stream ones if you guys happen to catch my latest live stream. So Elder Kraken for me has been pretty tough to use just because you have to be up close. For you guys that don't know, the biggest difference between the Elder Kraken and the original Kraken is that, well, Elder Kraken is a more up close monster, whereas of course the OG Kraken, or I should just call him original Kraken since the Elder Kraken is technically the OG. But anyways, the original Kraken can, of course, fly away and he can attack people at a relatively safe distance with all of his moves. Whereas the Elder Kraken, his eyesight isn't as good as it used to be. So he has to kind of get up close and personal in order to do a lot of his moves. And so it kind of takes away what I think makes the original Kraken good. Is the fact that original Kraken is a flying, moving target. Sure, Elder Kraken still flies, but he has to be more closer, which makes him an easier target. And also, the Elder Kraken does not have an air melee attack like the original Kraken does, so you definitely feel it, and it's something that I feel you gotta get used to quick because you're gonna be sitting there in the air trying to use a melee on somebody like, why aren't I hitting him? Well, that's because he does not have an air melee attack. Although, I will say that Kraken, or I should say Elder Kraken, has the ability to move a little bit faster while he's using one of his abilities. At least that's what the descriptions say. Personally, I haven't noticed it too much other than with Lightning Strike. He kind of does move a little bit forward and a little bit quick as he's doing it. I would say quicker than the original Kraken, but that's really just about it. Now, as I was trying to say earlier on in the video, I've had a lot of laggy matches with Elder Kraken, which is unfortunate because as I keep playing Kraken, I realized that his whole game is to sit there and lure your hunters to a spot that's more comfortable to you, of course. You can say that with relatively a lot of the monsters in the game, but also to combo and juggle your opponents. Now, a lot of his moves have the ability to launch the opponent up in the air. Death Spiral can kind of push him back, whereas Banshee Missile and Lightning Strike can actually launch them into the air. So that's juggle opportunity right there when you can sit there and launch them in the air, then continue with a melee attack, and then continue with, just pretty much having them to where they cannot fight you back. You're just constantly pushing them with your melee and your special moves, is constantly juggling them, But with lag, as you know, that's hard to pull off because sometimes the lag is in your favor, some other times it's not, and it's a mess. And Elder Kraken relies heavily on that, at least from what I can gather from the few games that I've played. So the laggy matches haven't helped, but when I did get matches that didn't really have a lot of lag in it, I was able to take out opponents pretty fast. And that's one thing I can say about Elder Kraken is that he can take out opponents pretty fast. We went against one Elder Kraken and I was playing with a team of randoms and he just wrecked us. It seemed like he just did like maybe 2 or 3 moves to some of my allies and they just went down like a brick. So Elder Kraken, if he's able to juggle you like I was saying earlier, or just combo his abilities, and as long as there's not like lag kind of messing up his moves, he can take out an opponent pretty fast. But that's just in pubs. And this is where I kind of get into my opinions about Elder Kraken. I think that Elder Kraken has some weaknesses that just will not let him be as good of a pick going up against a good competitive team. With pubs, Yeah, sure, but with anybody that kind of knows how to play as a team, I kind of feel like he's gonna be harder to justify, and the reasons are, for one, his transversal is just not as good. I honestly hate his transversal. I think he kind of has the worst transversal, and that may be over exaggerated. But I'm saying, for me personally, I just do not like his transversal at all. And it took me a while to get used to the original Kraken transversal. But when you use Elder Kraken and you use his transversal and then you go back to the original Kraken, it's going to make his transversal seem godlike. And to a certain extent, it is pretty good because it can send you flying. Now, the biggest issue with Elder Kraken's transversal is just it doesn't launch you as high in the air as the originals. Now, as you can see right here, with the original Kraken, his transversal launches them high in the air. Whether you're looking up or looking forward, it launches them high in the air. And it gives him a little bit of a travel distance as well. Whereas with Elder Kraken here, his transversal keeps him more grounded. Like, he's more closer to the ground, and maybe it might launch you a little bit more forward, but honestly, it does not feel that way. So that's really the reason why I do not like this transversal. I am not a fan of Elder Kraken transversal. I believe it keeps him way too grounded and makes him an easier target, which is going to be my next big point. But also, it makes it harder for you to get certain hunters when they're trying to run around objects to avoid damage. It just makes Elder Kraken's job a little bit more tougher. Now, as I was just saying a few seconds ago, it makes you an easier target that you have to stay somewhat up close. Now, that's due to his transversal not really launch you that high up in the air, but also for the fact that a lot of his moves are up close. All of his moves are moves that you have to do. Death Spiral looks like a move that you can do from a good distance, but it's a little bit of a deceiving move. It looks like from your perspective that it's going far, but in actuality, it is really not going that far at all. So, due to his moveset, you obviously have to play more up close, but because of his transversal not launching you up in the air as high as the original Kraken, you become a bit of an easier target, and it's harder to dodge enemy attacks. So he has a struggle with trying to avoid damage, and I think this is going to be a big issue against good teams. Now, the only last thing I can say about Elder Kraken that's somewhat of a negative is that his abilities have somewhat of a slow travel speed. Banshee Missile, although big, has a slow travel speed. Lightning Strike is kind of similar to the original Kraken. We know that's not exactly the fastest move to come out. And Death Spiral, even up close, seems like hunters dodge it pretty easily. So I have to assume that it kind of comes out somewhat slow. Or it must just be super noticeable and hunters can just get out of the way pretty fast. So that's not a huge complaint, because as long as you know how to aim properly, you can have them connect, but it does make it a little bit tougher to connect these moves. So overall, my impression of Elder Kraken is that he can be fun to play, but I don't think he's really a top tier pick. I think he's only just okay. I'm not saying that he's bad for the Elder Kraken loyalists right now. I'm not saying that he's bad, but I just don't think he's great. I think that original Kraken is still a better pick over him, and that he's just only okay. But you guys let me know in the comments, how do you feel about Elder Kraken so far? Do you think that he's a really good pick? Do you like him, or do you think he's garbage? Let me know in the comments below. I know this seems like this is more of a review than it was at first impressions, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video anyway. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, it helps. And until next time, you sexy ninjas, take it easy. Laters.